The red pill space has exploded in the past year. We have talk shows, we have talking heads, we have bald heads, we have shaved heads, we have redheads. I guess let's start with the biggest players, the Tate brothers. These guys are they're so gay and cucked that they've looped back around to being masculine. They're just the post-masculine, Julia. Aren't you based? Don't you understand what the modern definition of masculinity is? They're post-masculine. They are willing to whore their girlfriends out on live camera while sexting the pervs that are watching their girlfriends do sex acts, making sure they get their cummies, and that makes them really, really masculine. And especially, you know what it especially makes them? An authority on relationship advice. Yeah, unmarried, single, childless, cucked homosexuals are giving advice on relationships to the general population, and people are listening. I have a guy in my church who's a fan of Andrew Tate. I am Russian Orthodox. It's a very conservative church, and even there we are finding Zoomers who are listening to such personalities. Yeah, incredibly blackpilling. What is wrong with Zoomers? Anyways, let's move on. The redhead, goodness gracious, just pearly things, is so correct about women. Women have so little to offer to men that even the biggest pick-me girl has no boyfriend, no prospects, no husband, no kids, really nothing that would enable her to give sound advice about dating, relationship, marriage, etc. Yeah, it's almost like someone is writing down her opinions for her and she's just going with it because it's the popular thing to do today. Yeah. And no, I'm not saying women can't have their own thoughts. I'm saying that this specific woman is pretty regurgitaty. Yeah. Anyways, I'm mostly making this video because if you're a young person and these are your online role models, I really hope that no one watching this actually considers them to be. But if you do, let me white pill you a little bit. Most people are just normal. They want a nice relationship. Most women have like 2 to 3 boyfriends in their life, and they stay committed and monogamous to them and hope for them to propose and hope for a family and kids. That's like the general truth of most women. Let's touch on the talk shows. I'm gonna start a talk show, and I'm gonna only interview incels that live in their mother's basement, have never held a job, and play 50 hours of League, not even Dota, but League a week. There you go. That's my demographic. Okay, and then I'm gonna put them around at the table and ask them ridiculous questions, and then just kind of like belittle them and put them on the spot. Use my logic skills, my based logic to completely humiliate them for my show. And then I'll go, see, all men are useless. None of them have anything to offer to women these days. They're all mama's boys, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I should do that. That would be... Do you think people would watch that? Do you think I could make mad bucks selling a demoralizing show like that? I hate watch these shows, so I'm part of the problem, I will admit. But okay, lastly, I just want to clear up some stats. One of which no one talks about. I've been talking about this since 2014, 2015, but no one knows this. Okay, the divorce rate thing, that 60 to 80% of divorces are filed by females, very misleading statistic. This statistic has been true since 1867, when women had absolutely no benefit to divorce. So it's very misrepresenting to tout this stat because it leads people to think that women are just trying to get money and custody of their children, right? They're trying to get all the gains from men by initiating divorce. But if this has been a constant since 1867, there might be a different factor at play. Perhaps men really hate paperwork, or men have a higher tolerance for bad relationships, so they just stay in them. I don't know. I'm not going to claim to know why, but it's been constant since the 1800s, so please stop talking about this. Okay, also the divorce rate being 50%, that's also a misleading statistic because it depends on the cohort. So like the cohort of boomers is really high. Boomers are getting divorced at like an insane rate. So if you take boomers out, the divorce rate is pretty low actually. And then it depends on what demographic you're looking at. Are you looking at white couples, black couples, Asian couples, Indian couples, Jewish couples, whatever. All of those cohorts have incredibly different statistics for divorce. For example, white couples, white man married to a white woman, it's about 15%. Asian couple, it's even lower, it's like 9%. And then also you can break it down by which divorce is it, because when you include a second and a third divorce, you're including people with like significant attachment issues or whatever into the general statistic, which increases the rate of divorce for everybody. But if you exclude second and third divorces, then the overall divorce rate is not 50%, it's like closer to 15. Yeah. Just something to think about. Don't be too black-pilled. If you like stats, actually look into them instead of believing, random bald guys on red pill spaces. So, yeah, those are the... Oh, and the family courts. Some people do talk about this now, which is great. But when men do fight for their kids in court, they tend to at least get 50% custody. The fact is that like 80% of men don't even fight to get custody of their children in the first place. That's why women de facto get full custody of their kids. Again, something to think about. Yeah, that's about it. The only advice I have for you is don't listen to anyone who isn't married, doesn't have kids, isn't in a long-term relationship when it comes to dating or advice in general pertaining to dating or marriage or family life. It's absolutely ridiculous to listen to people with zero experience on these subjects. There's plenty of people in happy long-term relationships and marriages who you can just go speak to and ask questions and base your life choices on their advice instead of the aforementioned. Okay, take care. Bye-bye.